Good afternoon. My name is Yunus bin Abbas, and I'm the group leader of Group 20. And right now, me and my group are going to be giving an overview of the case study report we did based on the Feel Free Wellness Tonic scandal that took place in North America, and basically how its exploitation and corruption had dangerously affected uh, all their consumers with risks of severe addiction and even hospitalization cases. So, moving on to the next slide. Okay, so these are the topics that we will be covering in this presentation. So we want to move on to the case background as well as the timeline of this case. Next, moving on to the next slide. Okay, so let's start with the case background for Botanics Tonics Feel Free. So it was launched in 2020 by Botanics Tonics, and Feel Free is basically a plant-based wellness tonic. It had all natural ingredients and all that sort of good stuff to help enrich the soul, and it would try to attract the fitness and wellness market, especially as it was prescribed as an alternative to alcohol, caffeine, smoking. Basically, it was served as an alternative. So let me give an example. Nicorette, for example, that helps. That is an alternative to smoking. uh, okay, its key ingredients within the drink would be kratom and kava. Now, these two ingredients are psychoactive substances which are highly dangerous. One is practically an opioid, and another can be dangerous and very toxic to your liver, which is ironic, being prescribed as an alcohol alternative. It was basically been distributed at many different gas stations, 7-Eleven retail outlets, and even through online e-commerce websites. Okay, so moving on, I would also like to have a look over the entire timeline of this operation and this scandal. So it first started in 2020 when the product was first launched into the fitness and wellness market as a sort of tonic. It soon caught on between 2020 and 2021 by basically influencer market hype. They would try to hype it up on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. For example, if you look at the image on the right is one image example of an influencer trying to promote the product on YouTube Shorts, and these influencers would try to hype it and basically use their audience to try and sell the drink, which did not end well, as in 2022 this group called the hashtag Feel Free Addiction Group was a TikTok kind of community that gathered around, especially in areas like Reddit or Twitter. They would gather and foster a community of those suffering from the addiction to the Feel Free Wellness Tonic because of its substances contained within the drink. It caused them severe withdrawal symptoms. Some even got hospitalized, their lives were ruined, and financially they were ruined as well, as a lot of money was spent on this drink because of its addictive properties. On 2023, a class action lawsuit was filed by Romulo Torres, who was another one of the victims of Feel Free. He had filed a lawsuit against 7-Eleven as well as Botanic Tonics, because 7-Eleven was colluding with Botanics Tonics to help distribute it easily amongst a variety of different retail outlets. So 7-Eleven was involved and also uh, had to agree together with Botanics Tonics for the 8.75 million settlement, which was done in 2024. Botanics Tonics had agreed to set to do the settlement to try and compensate for all the victims that were affected by their product. Another thing is that their distribution. There was a issue where even after the lawsuit, a 7-Eleven retail outlet had not given any age checks or warnings, was simply distributing it amongst all the other energy drinks as well. But that is all for my part. I would like to pass it over to Mr. Rangel.
All right. So my part focuses on the main issues with how this product was marketed and the real harm it caused. First, the company used phrases like all natural and safe without any scientific proof. Under the FTC Act, that's considered deceptive because it makes people believe the product is harmless when it isn't. Next, they fail to warn consumers about addiction, withdrawal, or long term health risks. Selling something with addictive potential but giving zero warnings is a major violation of consumer safety. Then, when people started complaining, the company publicly denied any serious addictions cases that completely contradicts real user experiences and shows an intentional effort to protect their image instead of protecting consumers. They also used influencers who didn't disclose they were paid. That creates a fake sense of trust, especially among young audiences who follow these creators. And finally, selling the product right beside energy drinks in 7-Eleven normalizes it and hides its risks. No labels, no age restrictions, just impulse buying with no information. And because of all of this, real people suffered. John ended up hospitalized. Romulo spent thousands a month and developed psychosis. Jasmine's health collapsed, and Mackenzie dealt with panic attacks and even lost her job. These stories show this isn't just a marketing issue. The consequences were serious and life changing. That's all. That's the core of the allegations. I would like to pass it to Usman.
Okay, my part is fishbone diagram. The first one we can see in the above policies. The absence of a federal catron ban creates a regulatory vacuum despite raising concern over its addictive potential, allowing companies to exploit loopholes and market it is an harmless supplement. The second one we can see people greedy executives prioritize profit over public safety, often ignoring internal warnings or ethical concerns. And paid influencers amplify misleading narratives, glamorizing the product without disclosing sponsorship. This manipulates public perception, especially among youth and recovering individuals. The third one we can see processes. The lack of warning levels means consumers are unaware of risks like dependency, withdrawals, or overdose. And weak retailers compliance checks allow products to be sold without age restriction or proper placement. The fourth one is technology. Algorithms on platforms like TikTok and Instagram target vulnerable users by pushing emotionally charged content and testimonials. This creates a feedback loop that reinforces harmful behavior. And the last one, external factors. The wellness industry regulation gaps means products can bypass FDA scrutiny if labeled as supplement. This blurs the line between health, age, and addictive substance, leaving consumers composed and unprotected. Uh, I would like to pass it over Mr. Al Nur.
Hi, my name is Alnur Mohammad Shoaib. I am going to be explaining about the slide 8, legal action and outcome. In 2023, a group lawsuit started in California against Botanic Tonics and 7-Eleven. It was for people hooked on feel free, like Romuald T, who spent $3,000 a month, and Jasmine, whose life was ruined by vomiting, anxiety, and panic. The suit said that the company lied by calling the drink safe and natural, even though kratom acts like opioid and kava can harm the liver. They gave no warnings and sold it next to energy drinks. After 2 years, they settled in 2025 for $8.75 million. This paid victims, forced new warning levels, and checked future ads, but no one went to jail, and the drink is still sold with changes showing lawsuit alone cannot fully stop bad behavior in the wellness market. Thank you. My friend Dishan is going to discuss the next slide with you.
For my part, I'll be explaining the lesson we learned from this case. First, we learned that misleading marketing can cause real harm. Botanic Tonic promoted feel free as all natural and safe, even though it contained kratom and kava. When people believe false claims, they end up using products that can actually damage their health. Second, Social media algorithms make the issue worse. Platforms like TikToks push this drink to users who are already vulnerable, especially young people looking for energy or stress relief. This increased misuse and addiction. Third, the product was sold without proper regulation. There were no clear safety checks, no age restriction, and no proper warning label. Because of that, many consumers had no idea what risks they were taking. We also learned the power of real stories. Victims sharing their experience on social media help expose the truth and push authorities to take action. Lastly, we saw that the product placement was very unethical. Feel Free was placed next to the normal energy drink, making it look safe even though it wasn't. Based on this lesson, we have three main recommendations. First, psychoactive supplements like this should require FDA approval to make sure they meet real safety standards within 2 years. Second, influencer promotion must include clear risk warning. No more paid ads pretending the product is harmless. The FTC can enforce this easily. And third, the Kratom Consumer Protection Act should be applied nationwide. This means setting an age limit of 18, controlling product strengths, and ensuring proper labeling so consumers are protected in all states.
So now I will explain how this case connect to the integrative framework which has three key pillars: transparency, accountability, and enforcement. So first, let's talk about transparency. Every product must disclose full risks on levels, in ads, and across digital platforms. Consumers deserve clear, honest information before making health-related decisions. No more vague claims or hidden danger. Next is accountability. A strong example of this when a company had to pay on $8.75 million fine and issue a public apology for misleading consumer. This kind of action set a crucial precedent. And finally, we have enforcement. Integrity means action a nationwide kratom law, pride with retail audits ensures compliance, prevent unethical placement, and protect vulnerable groups. Enforcement turn policy into impact. Together, these three pillars, transparency, accountability, and enforcement, create a stronger, safer system that put public integrity and consumer protection first. So now I would like to pass it over Mrs. Kubra.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to highlight key concerns about the growing use of natural psychoactive supplements. First, natural does not mean safe. Many products use this label to appear harmless, but natural ingredients can still have powerful and dangerous effects. Second, weak regulations allow companies to take advantage of consumers. With poor oversight, they can make bold claims, hide risk, and sell products without proper testing or guidance. Third, influencer marketing adds to the problem. Paid promotions often glamorize these supplements without mentioning dangers, misleading young and vulnerable audiences. Finally, while companies may deny the risk, social media has become a place where users share real experiences. Platforms like TikTok and Reddit reveal the side effects and harms the advertising often hides. In short, misleading labels, regulatory gaps, influencer hype, and honest user testimonies show that we need better protection, clearer information, and stronger accountability in industry. Thank you for listening to our presentation.